What is up, everybody? How are you guys tonight? How is everything? Hope you guys can see me. There's a little lag here. Hope you're all having a good night wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Let me ask you guys real quick, as always. Hey, Pro Illusionist. Hey, Terrence. Hey, Teresa. I saw Justin left a message in here too. Hey, Ross. What's up, man? It's getting hot in Argentina, so I have my air conditioner on. Can you guys hear that on the mic, or does the audio sound good? Does it sound crisp? As always, I don't have headphones on, so I need your assistance here. Also, on a side note, you'll notice that the room seems a lot more bright than usual. Like there's more light in here. Awesome, guys. That's great. So at least I won't be all sweaty during the lives during summertime here. You might notice a little more light in here. It's really just the picture profile. I changed the picture profile tonight just to see how this would look. I think it's a little more lit. I kind of like the darker vibe more. What do you guys think? But I think the image just looks a little better. Thank you guys for letting me know the sound is good. I mean, I was worried that you guys would be able to hear the air conditioner and I'd have to do this all summer without an air conditioner on. Oof, you guys know it gets hot in Argentina. So let me check out the live chat. It looks like there's a lot of you guys already in here, which is awesome. Alchemy, what's up, man? Tony, how are you, man? All the way from England. Hope you're having what time is it in England right now? Is it nighttime? I think you guys are 3 hours ahead of me. It's kind of late, right? Well, I hope you're having a great night. Ross says he's a newcomer. He subscribed from Jay's channel. Guys, so last week, before we get started, talking about UFO cases, last week was a crazy week for me. I got to meet Jay from Project Unity. We had a fireside chat. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure to do that, because I felt like our discussion was fluid. It was interesting. We touched on a bunch of different topics. I shared some interesting experiences, and Jay is an awesome guy. So it was cool because I got to talk to him, but then I also felt like I made a friend at the same time. And I've said it before in the past, looking into this subject, I've always felt alone. So as I meet more people, like all of you here in the live chat, and people dedicated to looking into this, it feels great. So make sure to go check out Project Unity's channel. And Ross, I'm glad that you came over from Jay's channel. I'm happy that you enjoyed our discussion. Portugal. Hey, what's up, Teresa? All the way from Portugal. Midnight in London. All right, guys. So midnight. Thank you guys for being here. I understand it's late. Do me a favor before we get started. Share this on any social media platforms that you use, so we can get more people here in the live chat, and we can have like a fluid, I said fluid twice already, we can have a extensive discussion on this topic. So I shared a tweet earlier today to let everyone know we were going live, because I wanted to talk about UFO cases, but I personally want to know what your favorite cases are. Maybe I don't know of the case, so it'd be good for me to hear other people's cases. I'll kick it off by just letting you guys know what my favorite case is. It's the Ariel School case. I understand that the James Fox is the phenomenon. You had the Ariel case and the Westall case, which are the two, for me, my two favorite cases. And I have been looking into those cases, or I had looked into those cases a long time ago, and they always stuck with me because of the quality of the case, right? I understand that the witnesses were children, school children, but you have a mass sighting in broad daylight, for example, the Ariel school sighting, where not only did they see the craft, but they saw the beings exit the craft. So you're getting a case with multiple witnesses in the middle of the day with the craft, with the occupants outside of the craft. And I think that's hard to come by. You know, you have cases like the Phoenix Lights, or you have, the Roswell case, or the Rendlesham case, or the Battle of Los Angeles. All these cases that are fascinating and interesting. But I feel like this case and the Westall case as well, because another case where there are multiple witnesses. It's a daytime case. People saw the craft. The kids went. I always imagine the scene and the emotion that these kids must have had as they were witnessing, the saucer go down in that field. The amazement and the intrigue, right? Because when you're young, you're not as afraid of things as you are when you're older. It's like when you're older, you're not afraid. You're just more weary. You're more cautious because you know of the consequences. And I still wonder today what could have happened to the experiencer, Tanya, I think was her name, which was this young girl that supposedly, I think she touched the craft, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've read up on the cases, but these two cases are, in my opinion, my favorite cases. Hey, Andrew, what's up, man? Guys, make sure to check out Andrew's podcast. He has a podcast. Andrew, shout out your podcast if you want in the live chat. Feel free, man. Let me check out the live chat. Let me keep up with you guys. This happened last time too, guys. You guys were all talking, and I was trying to I was sharing my experience or whatever, and I wasn't looking at the live chat. So I think I'm gonna have to talk and look at the live chat moving forward, because there was a moment where I was like, what's going on in the live chat? So let's see. Teresa asked me, what do I think of the Fatima case? Was it aliens? Well, we're going to get into a subject here. I'm going to, walk a thin line here. I am not very religious. I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school. And I read the Bible. I did all, catechism, communion, the whole 9 yards, right? And when I started really studying the UFO phenomenon, and even at a young age, when I was reading the Bible, I was thinking that lots of the stories in the Bible were similar to what somebody today might think was a UFO close encounter. At the time, I didn't know what a close encounter of the first kind, second kind, third kind, or whatever it was, But I had an idea, and it just reminded me of that. And it's actually pretty funny because a cousin of mine, we took a religion class together because we went to the same school. And we had this nun. I remember her clearly. She had this tracksuit on, like a gold tooth. She was like a hip nun. And I don't remember what we were talking about. I think we were talking about Jesus, right? And she started telling, I don't know if we were reading the story or what, but I just clearly remember raising my hand and telling her, okay, so basically Jesus is like Superman. And I'm pretty sure I got detention for that, because it was kind of, I guess she thought it was offensive that I even said that. But my cousin clearly remembers it because I said the story is exactly the same. Now the story of Superman is based on the story of Jesus. But getting back to what we were talking about, so basically I'm telling you that I was on a path, kind of connecting the dots with the ancient astronaut hypothesis for a very long time. Do I think that religions are powerful and help people? Yes. Do I think they may have been inspired by what we call today the phenomenon? It may have been a precursor of what we're seeing today? Yes. I mean, literally looking at the story of, we'll go back to Jesus, when the three kings went through the desert following that star to find Mary with the baby in the, the manger or whatever. They literally followed Sorry, guys. They literally followed a bright star through the desert. I mean, and to think that he was the son of, this immaculate conception. If that happened to somebody today, the immaculate conception, if a bright light came into your house and this, this energy or this light being somehow, after the encounter, you were pregnant, I'm pretty sure that is a close encounter. So the story of Fatima, I don't see, like, for me, I don't see I don't divide, or I don't know how to say this. I don't separate. Like, if an angel were to fly out of the sky in front of me at my age now, if I were to see an angel with wings come out of the sky, I'm sorry, but it's not from Earth, right? It doesn't live on our planet. So, like it or not, however you want to paint the picture, it's an alien being. It's an alien entity or whatever. So the story of Fatima, obviously, if I were to give you my opinion on that, it would be, yes, I think that was an alien encounter. And I think that we know and we understand that this phenomenon at times projects a visual image to us when it comes into contact with us to make us feel more comfortable. And I don't see why that would have been any different in the past with the angels and the gods to what we're experiencing today. So yes, Teresa, that's a good one though. That's a good case because there's multiple witnesses. It's been recorded. It's a recorded case, and it's a legendary case. Some people consider it a religious miracle, but I consider it a close encounter with multiple witnesses. Carl Anderson said Colaris. Okay, so there's something different about tonight too, guys. So apart from the air conditioner, the different picture profile, I actually got a USB. Can you believe? I told you guys when I set up this live, this live studio kind of thing, I just put pieces of stuff that I had laying around and kind of put it all together. I didn't have enough USB ports to use my wireless keyboard for the last few lives. So I haven't been able to use like my mouse or my keyboard or anything during the lives. And now I got a USB, an extension for the USB, and now I can search. So Colaris is the Brazilian case. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to just look at it real quick to give you a good take on it. I really admire Richard Dolan and people that are like encyclopedias when it comes to UFO cases and stuff like that. I unfortunately, even with things that I like movies and music, I have to have like a reference, unless it's something that really sticks with me. Like I said, like the Rendlesham case, I could break it down for you and all the main cases. But the Colaris case, correct me guys, is that the one where there was the they call them the Chupa Chupas, which were these UFOs that attacked this fishing town in Brazil, and basically they were shooting like these red beams out of the craft, and they were burning people. Carl, is that the right case? If not, we can pick it back up. I'll look again. But let me see who else is what other cases are being brought up in the live chat. Teresa said, sure, I think so too. Thanks. Yeah, guys, and when you tell me the case that you want to talk about, give me a little bit of background, refresh my memory so we can jump into it. Oh, Carl said, exactly. Okay. That's an interesting case, Carl, the Colaris case, because it's not the first case where you hear of this idea of UFOs shooting like a laser beam out of it that affects people. We also have talked about in the past, like how you can sometimes get just too close to a craft and it can have a negative effect on you, something similar to radiation burns, which is something people often don't bring up and overlook, I feel, where, you know, it may not be that the craft is directly trying to harm you, but whatever it is that is powering the craft, or whatever, you know, if it's residue from, you know, where it's coming from or whatever, has an effect on people. So if you guys ever do see a craft, I would suggest not getting that, you know, that close to it, just because it could end up bad for you. Yeah, I know it's going to be difficult not to get close to the craft. I've said this a million times. For me, it would be super difficult, but you don't want to end up like Travis Walton, you know, or maybe you do. Maybe you want to have that adventure, risk it, and see if you can come back like Travis did. Carl Anderson, that's a good case, Carl, that you brought up, the Colares case. See, like I said, guys, not an encyclopedia, but I had it. Carl, you know I had it. I just wanted to double check. Pro Illusionist said, Richard Dolan, funnily enough, you mentioned him. He did an episode on it. Okay. Because Pro Illusionist said, do you know about the 1941 Cape Girard, Missouri crash retrieval? Let me look at this real quick. Oh, you guys hear that? There's like a motorcycle or something that just drove by. 1941 Cape Girard crash retrieval. All right, so give me context, guys. Give me context, because I don't want to jump back and forth. You know what I mean? The crash details of this case are very much like the Aztec crash. Now, that's an interesting case, the Aztec crash, because there are symbols on the craft. You know, they noted symbols on the craft, and that's something that I've tried to connect the dots with many, many times, and I feel like those cases are very important and interesting. So Pro Illusionist, back to what he was saying, the crash details of this case are very much like the Aztec, New Mexico crash of 1948, and were sent to Stringfield by Charlotte Mann, who had received a confession from her grandmother on her deathbed. Her grandfather was Reverend William Huffman, who was a pastor at the Red Star Baptist Church. Huffman claimed that he was summoned to pray over crash victims outside of Cape Girard, Missouri, 1941. Pro Illusionist, is that the case where supposedly they buried one of the bodies out in the desert? Let me know, because I think that might be the case. But you know, any case really, guys, where there is a crash. Something that I was saying recently was the New York Times crash retrieval article. Everyone was talking about the tech and stuff, and how important it is. And oh, look, they're talking about crashed UFOs. And the first thing my mind jumped to when I read that article was, if there's crashed UFOs, if there's crashed vehicles and they retrieved them, then they must have retrieved the occupants. I mean, it's very rare to hear of cases where the UFO is not accompanied by occupants. So the more interesting part there for me when I read that article was, okay, so if they have crashed UFOs, and they definitely, most likely, I don't want to put all my chips in one corner as always, must have retrieved some bodies. And who knows if they were deceased or living. That's super interesting to think about. Morcavia Studios. Hey man, what's up? I believe catching anything from the crash means it's man-made, like the Cash Landrum incident outside of Houston. I don't know if, you know, something that people often say is, you know, why would these UFO crash? Why would they, why would they allow, if they're so technologically advanced, how is it that they crash their craft? How is it that they go down? Now, I think that something interesting, I think Jay Jay from Project Unity brought up in our fireside chat. He said, what if they were leaving it here on purpose? What if they leave the crashed vehicles here on purpose for a reason? I thought that was interesting. But I also think that, sorry guys, I also think that, that we do hold this phenomenon very high up in regards to how intelligent it is. Understanding what, maybe they are very technologically advanced, but in most cases that I've heard of close encounters where the occupants are out of the craft, right? Not speaking about the craft here. The way the occupants move, the way they react, the way they seem to, hold themselves, for me, in my opinion, shows a little bit of, I don't know how to say this, like they may not be as intelligent as we think. Their tech might be super advanced, but them as a being or as a species or whatever, whatever the occupants are, they may be tech smart, but maybe they're not all around smart. You know what I mean? I think you guys might get what I'm saying. So you guys are bringing up a lot of good cases, man. Diana said, Valet reports the first UFO case reported turns out to be in the 1500s BC Egypt. That's interesting, Diana. She said, I personally am Team Jacobs, Dr. David Jacobs, and I believe they ever crash, or I'm assuming she's saying they never crash. Okay. The school that I belong to, no accidental crashes. Well, that's why Project Unity. What's up, man? Project Unity. I was just talking about him. He, in our fireside chat, Jay said, what if they purposely leave the craft here? What if they do that? They leave the tech behind on purpose. So Diana, maybe that would vibe a little more with, your school of thought, because it's all a possibility. Right? Marcavius Studios, Cape Girardeau is where they held the alien. Okay. Marcavius Studio. The buried alien is Aurora, Texas. Very good, Marcavius Studio. There we go. That was my mistake. Aurora, Texas is the buried alien, which I think got debunked. Right, guys? Let me know. Andrew Hall. Fallibility. There we go. That's a good word. Fallibility. So I think there is a bit of fallibility when thinking about this phenomenon. Originally, seeing as today is Thanksgiving for most North Americans, the only reason why I like Thanksgiving is because of the food and being able to hang out with my family. And I am not able to do that, seeing as I'm in Argentina. But that got me thinking about basically what would it be like the day that, if there is ever open contact, if these beings ever do come down and make open contact with us, I feel like a lot of people will consider them gods, and worship them to that level just because of the advanced technology that they would have, and maybe the advanced forms of understanding the universe and reality. And why Thanksgiving made me think of that is because, I don't know, it spawned from Thanksgiving to Columbus Day, and how, when the Europeans came into contact with the natives, they had mirrors, and they made them think that the mirrors were magic and all this kind of stuff. And I was just thinking today, what would ever happen when, if it ever did ever happen, I'm not saying it will, these beings ever came down and made full open contact with us. People say that we're ready for the truth and disclosure. That's one thing. But would we ever be ready to, let these beings become part of our reality? What if they came out of a craft and started teaching us and started guiding us, I think they would definitely be considered gods. And punched the mic. They would definitely be considered gods, and their tech would be considered magical until we understood it. Let me check out the live chat, guys. Again, if you haven't seen the fireside chat with me and Jay from Project Unity, I had a blast, and he's up here in the live chat, so make sure to go check that out. He says, Project Unity says, perhaps the fact that they would be worshipped is as gods is precisely why they interact on the fringes. Perhaps they understand we need to develop ourselves and not rely on gods. That's a good one. I like that. I like that, Jay. Definitely. I mean, there is a reason why they're not coming out of the shadows. People might argue, like, look, they are showing up. They are interacting with us. They are abducting us. And yes, they are. But they're not openly making contact. They're not openly coming out of their craft in front of groups of us and just staying here and talking to us and teaching us how to evolve and become take our species to another level. And it may very well be the reason Jay just brought up. They understand that we're easily manipulated. We're waiting. The moment we see that mirror that we don't understand, it becomes magic. Diana, I understand. She said Thanksgiving is not so great for us indigenous nor Americans. I totally get it. That's why I was saying the only reason why I like it is the food and to be able to hang out with my family. But I totally get it's not a good. It doesn't represent anything good other than what I'm trying to say there. Ross Erman, sorry, Ross. He said, anyone see the recent upload Greer made to his channel about a USO with witness testimony? I find Greer a bit untrustworthy, but the testimony seemed pretty honest to me. I was going to bring that up tonight because I didn't have a chance to watch it, Ross, but I did see some tweets floating around there on Twitter, and people were talking about like that he was discharged for doing mushrooms, which I thought was strange. If anyone has like the full backstory with that, I'd like to hear it. Diana says, Ross, I saw it and don't buy any of it. For one, he cannot even recall the month he claims the retrieval happened. He also seemed to be squirmy and came off, in my opinion. Something that, like, I'll tell you from personal experience. Memories fade. I haven't seen the video, so I'll watch it and I'll let everyone know, obviously, after I watch it. But just, memories fade, even close encounters and like crazy experiences. I shared an experience on the fireside chat, and I realized, like, in comparison to when I made a video about it a long time ago to now, I kind of had to like piece parts of it together, and the experience made me uncomfortable. So I think if you maybe had seen me telling the story, I might have seemed a little squeamish or a little nervous. But I'm also somebody that, like, I sit in front of a camera all the time. Maybe that guy is nervous all the time, Teresa says, I don't like Greer. He's a businessman. I've said it once, I've said it again. I'll say it again. I don't have a bias towards Greer because I do feel like he's done good work in the past. I understand he is a businessman. He does make money from this subject. But a lot of people in the UFO field make money from this subject, be it from a book or media or whatever. I do think it is a little, one thing that kind of led me off the path of Greer was how he was charging for the C5 meetups. Just because I feel like if you ever really knew how to, if you had this ability to contact these other, these extraterrestrials or these beings, and you didn't just share it with the world for free, have your meetups for free. I understand, like, the world revolves around money. But I feel like the occupants, the beings themselves, would hate to know that you were making any money from, from having these meetups. Think about it, guys. Like, I feel like the extraterrestrials themselves would be like, what do you do? Why are you making money from this? Like, everyone should know this. This should be common knowledge. It should be free for everyone. You guys should be practicing this openly. There shouldn't be any meetups where you have to pay money to do this kind of stuff. I don't know. But let's check out the live chat again. Diana said, hoping the ET Thanksgiving to come is not like what happened to us indigenous. Well, that's what I was thinking, Diana. Literally. That's literally like the wavelength I was on today. I was going to call this like ET Thanksgiving or something, and try to bring that up. But I thought, the cases to get you guys all in the live chat and talk about cases would be great. Because I want to hear what cases you guys like. Project Unity said, really not impressed with it. Could be wrong. It hit all the wrong notes with me. I think maybe because I can't see what he was talking about there. I think you guys are still talking about the Greer witness. All right, so let me scroll down. Keep up with you guys, man. Thank you guys for being here. Honestly. Oh, another cool thing that happened. Last week I was on that UFO podcast when I did the roundtable with Shadows of Your Mind magazine and the Signal from Twitter and Andy from that UFO podcast. I don't know when it's gonna drop. I assume it'll drop like in like maybe on Friday or something. I don't know, but it should be fun, guys. I think you guys will enjoy it. If you haven't checked out Shadows of Your Mind magazine, definitely check them out. And the Signal does he's got these really cool Tic Tac UFO like stickers and stuff like that. He does like kind of like merch, which I think is awesome. I really like it. So let's get back to the live chat. Ross said, yeah, sorry for mentioning Greer. No, guys, I mean, we should talk about these things openly, and there should be no hate. There should be no drama. We're all adults. I can tell by my analytics. And we can have different opinions without ripping each other's heads off. There's been a lot of drama lately on UFO Twitter. I don't really want to get into it that much because you probably all know what's going on. I've tried to be a voice in the community that's not combative and not I just don't have time to do it, right? I really don't have time to get down anybody's throat or start any drama. So I don't really want to talk about what's going on UFO Twitter because I feel like everyone's seen it, everyone's heard about it. I feel like it could be a good discussion to have at a different time. But I did notice one thing that kind of irked me a little bit. I noticed that some people that are often on UFO Twitter, for those of you that aren't on UFO Twitter, make sure to check it out. Kind of started saying like they didn't trust UFO Twitter anymore, and but they were putting all UFO Twitter in the same box. Like we all are on the same page. We're not all on the same page. And if you're going to be part of, if you're going to be part of the community and you're going to be supporting UFO Twitter or, trying to get likes or whatever they're doing, and then turn your back on the community when you feel like it's not in your best interest, I feel like that's kind of, I don't know. It's like I don't think I could turn my back at this point on UFO Twitter. Even if some crazy stuff happened, I know that you're not all the same person, and UFO Twitter is a community. It's not all one person, right? And people are going to make mistakes. People are going to they're going to trip over their shoelaces every once in a while. It's going to happen. But the problem is when, you can't understand that, and there's people that push the person down when they trip over their shoelaces, or see one person trip over their shoelaces and think we're all going to trip over our shoelaces. I don't know if that makes sense. But, yeah. let's get back. So I didn't want to get too deep on that, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like, kind of bugged me that people were putting all of UFO Twitter into one box. I think we can talk about that in another day. But let's get back to the cases. Let me take a sip of water real quick. And let's check out the live chat. Diana said, Greer has his positive contributions. It's a mixed bag. I don't respect him anymore, that's all. Too much crap. Yeah, I get it. Totally. Oh, Pro Illusionist said, what do you think of the Hopkinsville case? Now, that's the one with the gremlins, right? I call them gremlins. Oh, yeah, he said right under. The one where these gremlin-looking aliens attacked a shack with a couple of families in it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the 1955 Hopkinsville alien invasion. You know, when I told you guys a while back about how this phenomenon needed, the subject needed, like, better motion pictures and better media, like the Hopkinsville case, I feel like would be an awesome film. Like, if you did it right, it doesn't have to be, it's as long as it sticks to the story and it sticks to the legend, I think it could be a very well done film. And it could be like something based on the Hopkinsville alien invasion that happens later, like in today's time. You know what I mean? It's the same creatures, same incident. Maybe it's the same home, but it's like the grandchildren or the great grandchildren, and the same invasion happens. I feel like that'd be a awesome film. But that's an interesting case. One, because, like I've said in the past, piecing together what these occupants are wearing when close encounters happen may sound stupid to some people, but in the Hopkinsville case, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were saying that it seemed like they were wearing like headgear, kind of like armor style stuff, and when they would shoot at them, the bullets really weren't affecting them, which is super interesting. Also, that style of being has come up, I think, in other cases, sort of trickled out throughout UFO history, but it's not the most common being that you see. And every time I think of that case, the Gremlins pop up in my head, the Gremlin films, and I just imagine the Gremlins and how they ruined the whole town and all that kind of stuff in the movie. And I think, like, that's the same. I think it's actually, if we look into it, I think the Gremlin films are actually based, like, inspired by the Hopkinsville alien invasion case. I think. I may be wrong, but I think that the idea for the Gremlin was inspired by that. Guys, thank you guys again for being here. I love seeing you all in the live chat, and I love seeing all your conversations and stuff. I mean, it's great. I love interacting. I feel like we need to do this more often. It's powerful to do this. Andrew Hall said water, right? I think he's talking about, yeah, I need more water, definitely. I don't know if it's the air conditioner or what, but I got a raspier throat than normal. Mark T said Project Blue Book episode on Hopkinsville was pretty good. Yep, you're right, Mark. I liked all of Project Blue Book. Honestly, I loved every second of Project Blue Book. I felt like the cast, the actors they picked were great. The cinematography was very well done. The editing, the colors that the colors that they used throughout the editing process, everything. Yeah. Advocate for Peace, Project Unity. Good to see you. That's awesome. Yeah, Project Unity's here. Teresa said The Arrival. I liked it. I started watching The Arrival really late at night, and it was kind of slow paced, and I fell asleep. So I have to watch it again. I will definitely watch it again, because I think the concept, from what I've read about The Arrival, seems really interesting and something that I should watch, seeing as I am looking into the phenomenon and I like all this kind of stuff. Project Unity said, a genuine feature production about Skinwalker Ranch, not a documentary, but an acted film using some of the best known NIDS cases. That would be awesome, Project Unity. Definitely. That would be awesome. And there, talking about my favorite cases, this is not, necessarily fully a UFO case, but Skinwalker Ranch, guys, for me, is fascinating. The orbs that supposedly killed the owner's dogs, like disintegrated the owner's dogs, which I think is super interesting to think about, because it's not very common to hear that kind of interaction between the orbs and living creatures, right? At least from what I've read, I haven't heard of any other cases where they disintegrate something completely like the Skinwalker case. Also, this idea of the Skinwalker itself, or the giant wolf creature that comes up to the ranchers or whatever, the owners of the property at the time, that they try to shoot and kill, and it seems like the bullets don't graze it, and they said it was like, I don't know, 3 times the size of a normal wolf, and all this crazy stuff happening at that location. Definitely something that I think people, because it seems so, the high strangeness is so out of this world there, and the stories that have come from that location seem so unbelievable, that people are, quick to say, like, where's the evidence? Robert Bigelow did work there. NIDS did a lot of good work there. And I mean, that evidence, if it does exist, I think it would be highly classified. And I also think that Robert Bigelow knows what he's doing to keep his evidence as secret as possible, because it seems like he's done it for a very long time. So let's check out the live chat again. Pro Illusionist, did you hear about the UK Prince Philip? Basically, the king has a library of UFO books. Yes, I did hear. I did see that. I thought that was super interesting. That seems like something that would be like a really memorable situation, right, guys? Like, imagine, I don't know, you meet Prince Philip, and he takes you to his UFO library, and he starts talking to you about UFOs. I feel like that would be something you would never forget. Andreas Yu says, what about the recovered disc by the Coast Guard in Guam? Hey, he says, hello, Gaucho. Hey, Andreas. That's a good one. The recovered disc from a Coast Guard in Guam. Let me know a little bit more about that. Drop a little more information, guys. Tony Mineham. Diana, which nation are you from? That's cool. Making connections there in the live chat. That's what this is for, guys. I'm glad. Let me scroll. You guys are in love with the conversations that are going on. I got to keep up with you guys. Mark T said, the coolest Skinwalker story, I think, is the sky tearing open and a craft coming out. That is a cool story. But there's also the story of like a literal portal opening up and a being coming out of the portal, like crawling out of the portal, which I thought was super trippy. There's a story like that. Marcavia Studio said, are you able to visit Skinwalker? Me and my family plan moving our family to Utah in a couple of years, and that would be interesting to visit. From what I've been told and what I've seen, I don't think anyone can visit Skinwalker. Maybe if you have some connections and you can talk to, I guess, Brandon Fugel, which is the owner of Skinwalker Ranch now. Maybe. But I feel like, I think I made a joke on Twitter, and I asked him, like, as a joke, like, hey, how do I get on Skinwalker Ranch? And I think he said, like, because of security reasons or something like that, I couldn't get on the ranch. I think he thought, like, I wanted to, like, trespass, because there's been a lot of trespassers going onto the ranch and stuff like that. But I don't know. I could assume that it's, private property. But I guess if you had a relationship with Brandon Fugel, like if I became friends with Fugel, maybe I could visit Skinwalker. Bringing up Utah, did you guys see the monolith that everyone's talking about? Right away, I didn't think it was alien. I gotta be honest, guys. As soon as I saw it, I thought it was like an art installation. But I still wanted to find out like what it was exactly. I was like, I gotta find this art installation. And in Utah, there is a lot of, I guess it's called like like natural art or like desert art, right? They do pieces in the desert. And I literally spent hours, I'm telling you guys, looking for this specific piece. I saw some people on Twitter sharing, articles or blogs about art installations in the desert in Utah, but it still wasn't that piece. So I was trying to find it for hours, and then I started looking for like sundials, and I just spent so long trying to find it. But I think this morning people were talking about like that somebody visited it and they saw like the rivets in it, and it's basically man-made. So yeah. Andrew Hall said, the portal story was wild. The thing that's so important about those stories is that these were scientists and very well-trained observers. I agree, Andrew. People really discredit the work NIDS did there, and they still do it to this day, which I think is very ridiculous. I don't know what else to say, I think it is very unfortunate that people look at that case that way. Advocate for peace. There were circular saw marks in the ground. So you guys, I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Let's go down. I'm going to scroll down a little bit and see where you guys are at currently. Let's see. Advocate for Peace said, the Undead Gaucho, check 4chan for exact coordinates. They tracked it down and even tracked the date via satellite photos. That's interesting. Somebody, I think it was Joe Rogan, was talking about how 4chan, like people get crazy deep with their searches on 4chan. But I guess that's good, right? Look, they tracked it down. They found the coordinates. I think they did it with like some art installation that Shia LaBeouf did, where it was like I think he was like streaming from a continuous stream from a secret location, and they tracked him down because they saw like a flag or something in the background, and then they used like Google Maps to find him or something like that. But yeah, crazy. Good work, 4chan, I guess. Pro Illusionist said, I gotta redraw my secret baselines. Definitely keep drawing, Pro Illusionist. Diana Pasulka has a great discussion going on Facebook, breaking down the symbolism of the monolith, specifically 2001: A Space Odyssey. There is, obviously, there is symbolism behind the idea of the monolith, but this one, unfortunately, guys, I think is just an art installation. It's just something made by an artist, Diana said, I hope the artist never comes forward so people keep talking. I do think it's cool that people were, fascinated by the story. It's unfortunate, though, like when people get sort of trapped into it and then like bad conspiracies get created around it. But I think this was pretty cool. At least visually, it was entertaining for me. I didn't freak out about it. I thought it was super interesting, other than spending hours trying to find the artist. But I do that all the time anyways. Carl Anderson, the Westall case, Australia school, 200 witnesses. Yes, Carl. That's my favorite case. That's my second favorite case, the Westall case. And what I'm still wondering today, and I brought it up when I made a video about the case, is Tanya. Do you guys know about Tanya? The girl that got close to the craft and supposedly touched the craft and then like disappeared. And like her friends went to go try to find her the next day or something like that. And I'm piecing this back together. They tried to go find her the next day, and they went to her house where, like, obviously it's your friends. So you go to their house, you know where they live, you know their family. And some other people answered the door, and it was like she disappeared. I think that's interesting. And that Tanya, if she's still alive, would be interesting to talk to. Because from what we heard about the Rendlesham case, when the craft was touched, it seems like that could also, apart from, running the risk of having some sort of negative effect on your biology, could somehow transfer some sort of message or some sort of information directly to you, which I think it could be very possible that, Tanya touched the craft. Maybe she had the same experience and got some, download of information. Diana says, the Undead Gaucho. Dig the witnesses to another world, Gaucho. Jack Valet wrote about a new doc. I've actually watched that movie, and the guy in it is the Gaucho. He's the real Gaucho. That's an interesting case. Definitely, guys, check that out. The Witness to Another World. I think that if you look into that case just a little bit, you'll notice that the witness is the kind of person that would probably not make this kind of story up, especially seeing as where he was from, his background, and sort of he lives off the land. You know what I mean? He's not the kind of guy that would make a story like this up. That's something that really frustrates me about this whole idea to not believe people when they have close encounters. There's so many reasons why not to have a close encounter. There's so many reasons why not to have a high strangeness experience. There are obviously positive reasons. It could help you grow spiritually. It could open your mind to new possibilities. But having to tell these stories and carrying them with you is almost like carrying a burden. It's like carrying a cross with you on your back throughout life, because you never know who's going to believe you. You never know who's going to look at you weird. You never know who's going to judge you for a story that you told or an experience that you had, or a idea that you have about reality. Some of us are willing to face it. Others are not. And I totally understand, why people are nervous, squeamish, why they don't want to tell their stories, why they feel like nobody's going to believe them, why they don't want to interact with the UFO community. Even today, when UFOs are being considered a reality, the subject is still taboo, and sometimes our presence and the way we hold ourselves as a community, not all of us, keeps it that way. You know what I mean? We got to get away from the tinfoil hats. We got to get away from the X-Files music, even though I love the X-Files. We got to try and play chess with this. We got to play our pieces right. We're finally at a point where it feels like this subject is becoming more credible and being taken more seriously. And we got to play this like chess. We can't we can't slip up. We got to try our best to stay legitimate, stay credible, and give people a platform to feel comfortable to trust us. To not just feel comfortable to trust government officials to tell their story to, or a psychologist, or, TTSA, that kind of establishment, but to also just trust everyday people like me and you that are here willing to listen. Let me jump back in the live chat. So Advocate for Peace as asking pro illusion is something. She said, I agree. They've always made massive mistakes regarding religious people. My entire family is very religious, yet extremely open and fascinated by the phenomenon. I don't think, there's moments where I advocate for peace, where I've talked about religion. And again, I want to emphasize this idea that just me giving the, I throw out this idea that I think that religion is inspired or may have been brought on upon by our interactions with the phenomenon over the decades, right? Over time. That does not mean that I don't respect people's religions. And I think religion is fascinating and something that if you want to learn a little bit more about the UFO phenomenon, I think you need to be kind of open to looking at religious texts and ancient texts and legends and histories and look at them like you would this subject. You know what I mean? Victor Bott. He says, as an experiencer, we shouldn't have to engage with the overall community. There's a select few I've talked to. Victor, I know, totally. I'm not saying that experiencers should be out telling everyone their story. But I feel like the reason why, people are open today to talk about a lot of stuff openly, if that makes sense. I used open twice there, but people today in society will say the strangest things openly. I'm not talking about the UFO phenomenon, I'm talking about in general, and share stories openly on the internet because they feel comfortable, because they feel like they can share those stories, right? Because other people do it. So I don't know. I'm trying my best to, anytime I come into contact with an experiencer or an abductee, to let them know that at least I'm here and they can talk to me. And I will not treat them like they're crazy, no matter how their experience played out or what happened. I will definitely try to hear them out, always. VictorBot said, my first MUFON meeting in my state was a huge turnoff for me as a close encounter experiencer. Well, that's what I'm saying too. I think we need to evolve the community. I'm not the person to do it. This is just my personal opinion, and I think it's happening. I think there are people in the community that are taking this in the right direction. Like I said, putting away the tinfoil hats, no more X-Files music, no more cheesy conspiracy theory kind of vibe in this community, because this is a very real subject, and it's real enough that the governments of the world are taking it seriously, and they've been taking it seriously. It's time for people to wake up. Let's check it out. Let's check out the live chat again. Teresa's smiling in the live chat. Holy Noel. August 1961, San Bernardino Valley. My dad was in the Air Force, stationed at Edwards. We were 100 miles away in a rental on a rabbit farm. Mom was in the hospital. Difficult birth. What is that? Let me scroll up. I think I missed a part of that. I think Holy Noel said, my dearly departed Aunt Nancy was 5 years old when she and her grandfather watched a bright, multicolored UFO shoot out of Bar Harbor in Maine. That's fascinating, Noel. Thank you for sharing that. I'm catching up with your messages in the live chat, Noel. Let's see. Thank you, Andrew. Andrew said I'm hitting on the right points tonight. I'm trying to get in the pocket. I'm trying to feel comfortable and calm and get in the pocket and really just have a fluid conversation with you guys and let you know, like, I'm really trying to talk to you tonight. I'm always really trying to talk to you guys, even when I make my videos, The other day I got the worst comment I've ever received on a video, on the Carla Turner video. Somebody called me a jackass and a blockhead. And they were like, so basically you ranted for like 2 minutes and then you put Carla Turner's lecture. So it's like you stole Carla Turner's thunder. Now, the only reason why I did that, and I've never like put a full lecture like that, because I had the idea of premiering it, and I thought it'd be great to have people in the live chat for the premiere. Obviously people leave comments, and sooner or later I'm gonna get a lot of those comments. I've had a few in the past, and I feel like as the channel progresses, I'll probably get more and more and more. And I know that, maybe I can be a little polarizing to certain people. But the only reason why I did that, and I feel like it was cool and it was a good experience for the people that were there in the live chat, like you, Andrew, I think you were there, Pro Illusionist was there, was because we got to watch her lecture all together and talk about it in the live chat. I think I might actually even do that again, and we can do it like a movie night, where we all sit down. I'll let you guys know what I'm about to put it on, and let it go. I don't know if I can do it that often, just because I have to be careful with copyright sort of restrictions and stuff like that. But if you guys have any footage from any UFO events or lectures that you guys actually recorded personally that you wouldn't mind me sharing, send them to me. Shoot me a message on Twitter, and I'll see if we can do that. Have like a movie night. maybe once a month or something. So let me check out. Holy Noel is sharing some stories here. She said, my Nana flew out from PA to babysit. We two girls. She took us for a walk before dusk out to a gully in the desert, just exploring. I was very nearsighted, so I was just crouching down to look at things. When the hair on the back of my neck and arm stood up, I looked up to my right, and there was a big dark triangle craft just there about 200 feet above us. Can you guys hear that? It's like the whole city's applauding. Something must have happened. It must be a soccer game or something. We're going to have to take that into consideration too, guys. Once the games start coming on or whatever's going on, something's going on right now. Listen, I'll stop talking. Tell me if you guys can hear it. Can you guys hear that? I don't know. So back to Noel's story. I'm sorry I got distracted. The whole city just started clapping and chanting for some reason. So there was a big dark triangle craft above you, 20 feet. That's super fascinating, super interesting. Nana was being lifted up into the air under the center of it. Wow. That is... a little gray person about my height came to me and took my hand. Her hand was warm. She had big dark eyes like Skinny Bob. She took me, and up we went. Little applaud, she said. That's interesting. That's a fascinating experience. Do you remember anything else after that? Is that a real experience? Oh, look, thank you for sharing. So the story continues here. I was placed in a semi-round room where the seating was just part of the wall. To my right was a man in blue military uniform with his hat in his hand. So there was a human man in there. Do you think he was part of these, he was on the craft before you, like another abductee? Or was he like working with whatever the entities were on this craft? He was looking at his hat. To my left was a young woman with light brown hair, and she was weeping into her hands. She was nude. Wow. It's interesting because I've heard cases where people are almost taken into they're taken into the craft or whatever. The abduction happens, and they see other people in there with them, and some people are like aware of what's going on. Other people seem a little dazed. But yeah. She says, yes, I think he was there on purpose. I don't know. But yeah, I would assume you wouldn't really know. But if you think he might have been there on purpose, I mean, that was something that Carla Turner was talking about. If you haven't seen the Carla Turner video I posted on Monday, in her lecture, she brings that up. So you should definitely check that out. Noel, you might learn some stuff from Carla Turner. She did a lot of great work for the, in the abduction field, in the close encounter field. I wonder what's going on, guys. Let me see because literally outside of my house right now, it's like people are honking horns. Something's going on. Oh, you know what happened? I think because Diego Maradona died today. That's probably what it was. So now they're all kind of in honor of him. I don't know. Maybe they're having a party or something. But yeah, today Maradona died. If you guys don't know who that is, he's a soccer player. Sorry. It's hard to concentrate, guys, when they're literally like screaming and chanting outside. Yeah, Diego Maradona died. Yeah, totally. And I forgot. My brother he sent me a message, but I didn't think that would happen. But this normally happens when something like this happens. Yeah, you're right, Diana. It is because that happened. Totally. Dylan. Oh, Holy, if you haven't read it, Dual Soul Connection by Susie Hansen might give you some answers. Great suggestion, Dylan. Definitely, holy, check out what Dylan's suggesting there. So, guys, let me know any other cases. Oh, also, on a side note, we reached 2,000 subs on the channel. So thank you guys, man. Thank you for all the support, really. We reached that right as we went live. We got to 2,000. I never thought we'd make it. I never thought I'd make it to, I don't know. I remember getting my first 100. And when I made my first 1,000, I was like, oh, wow. It's crazy. And now 2,000, I'm humbled, guys. I feel really humbled. Thank you, VictorBot. Thank you guys, man. Good job to all of you guys. Thank you for all the support and all the, awesome love and being here and all this kind of stuff. It's been great. And it's you guys that really help motivate me and push me to keep doing lives and uploading and trying to keep searching for the truth. And it's people like Noelle that are open to share her story in the live chat that make me realize that I might be doing this, the right thing. I might be doing the right thing, letting you guys, consider this a space where you're free to share your theories. You're free to talk to me. You're free to have discussions in the live chat without, there's been no rudeness in this live chat. There's been no disrespect. Nobody's going crazy in here because that's the kind of crowd and the kind of audience that we're trying to build. You know what I mean? That's the kind of group that we want to be. Thank you guys, man. Again, I couldn't do it without you guys, so I never thought I'd do it. Never thought I'd make it to 2,000. I know there's channels out there with many, many more subs, but I feel like we're building a strong community, so I'm super happy about that. And it happened right as we were going live. Marcus Studio says, Buenos Aires? Yes, I am in Buenos Aires. The Half True 509 says, you're in Argentina. Yes, I am in Argentina, guys. That's why the Undead Gaucho, for those of you that don't know, the Gaucho is a Argentinian cowboy. And the Undead is just literally is a name that stuck with the channel from when I first started it. But I felt like it was fitting, seeing as we're going to be talking about high strangeness. Andrew Hall says, are you familiar with the Terry Loveless abduction at Devil's Den? Literally what I was looking at before we went live. I was trying to get a refresher on that case. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That was a case where I think I was referring to where when they got abducted, they saw multiple people on the craft as well with them, right? And that was when the Devil's Den case is they were camping at night. They start to see the beings outside. This bright light comes in, over them. And then they're in the craft, and they see multiple people in the craft, and I think they even see other, humans interacting in the craft. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it again, but it was literally what I was looking into before, Andrew, before we went live tonight. I like that we're on the same wavelength tonight, guys. Diana said, "Send us some empanadas." Maybe one day, when the quarantine and the pandemic slows down, I'll hit the streets again, and we can do this maybe from an empanada place, or I can take you guys to different parts of the city while we talk about the UFO phenomenon, so you guys see Buenos Aires. Yenny and Jane and Fun Toys, buenas noches from Panama. Buenas noches, Yenny. I like how Dylan is interacting with Holy there. You guys are discussing that case. Holy, that's an awesome, it's not an awesome, I think I used the wrong word there. What I was trying to say is that's a fascinating case, and I'm sorry if that, did that case affect you negatively throughout your life, or have you already come to grips with it? If you're willing to share that as well, I'd be more than, I want to know a little more. And Marquis Studio says, I have many stories I would love to share. I'm just now opening up about different experiences I've had. No alien abducting for me. Low. Marquis, how do I say that? Morcavis Studios. I think I'm saying it right now. I might have been saying it wrong earlier. But yeah, man, share your stories. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard, guys, but try and share your stories with the right people. Uh, I'm here, right? Like I said earlier. Andrew Hall, that's a good idea. Take the channel on the road. Yeah, I've done it. Make sure to check out older videos, and you'll see like there were videos where I did a Skinwalker Ranch video where I went to this. Like it's crazy because I started finding random locations that even Argentinians don't know about. um, I found this like nature reserve next to the river here that nobody's ever told me about. I just found it because the park I wanted to shoot at that day closed, and I was kind of mad, and I was like, I need to get this done today. So I just threw on Google in my car like nature reserve, and it was the closest one I went to. It was amazing. There was 2 owls, in the trees. There was like animals and stuff. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I will be back on adventures. There's a place here called Punto Indio, and it's also like I think it's part of the river. And it's before the pandemic started. My plan was to go camp there on purpose with my camera and my gear. Maybe invite my dad or my brother because my dad likes to fish, and film there because it's a hot spot supposedly here. Somebody had brought it up to me randomly because they knew I was interested in the subject, and they told me that their grandfather had been to Punto Indio and had seen UFOs coming out of the water. So what I wanted to do was go there, check out the town, interview people, maybe talk to some people, and see if I camp next to the water at night, if I see anything, and take you guys with me. But as soon as I wanted to do that, the pandemic started. So it will happen, and that's my goal with the channel. I enjoy making my videos from home because I feel like the production value, I can take the production value up a notch, but I also want to do videos outside, of my house. Really, the quarantine was what made that transition, because before it was like I loved going out to shoot. Even though I think shooting inside's made me realize like it's much easier for me to get the topic, film it, and go with it, edit it, and just put out better content. Because being outside, there's a lot of elements that go into play if you want to make something cinematic, basically. And I'm trying my best with what I got for, trying to be cinematic and stuff like that. Let's check out the live chat. Holy Noel said, I was not able to tell anyone because back then people laughed and said you were a liar. It was your imagination, or we don't talk about these things. I'm sorry, Noel. That's literally one of the things that frustrates me so much is, a lot of these, like I said earlier, there's no reason for somebody to make up these kinds of stories. There's no real logical reason. I think it's more likely that, there will be few people making up these stories for attention, and there will be way more people that actually have these real experiences and are just trying to tell somebody and share their story, So thank you for sharing your story, Noel. I'm happy you could do that here. I'm happy that you guys all respected her and have, trying to just talk to her about it. I feel like that's awesome. The Half True 509 said, what kind of camera do I use for filming? Well, I've got 2 cameras, just real quick. I got a Panasonic G7. I have to get budget cameras here because I make pesos, guys. If you check out the exchange rate for pesos to dollars, I don't know what it is today, but everything for me is like super expensive, right? Like I would love to be back in the States at times, because I'm like, if I was back in the States, I could probably get, a Canon, a really, really good Canon, or a really, really expensive camera, like a cinema camera or something like that. But right now I'm using a Canon, what is it, the SL2, Canon SL2, and it's worked perfectly for me. I just wanted something small that I could swap lenses out and try to get, better lenses, upgrade my lenses, that maybe change my camera. But I don't want to talk about cameras tonight, guys. But thank you for the question, Half True 509. And if you want to get a good camera, you're thinking of making content, Panasonic G7 is a good choice, and the Canon SL2 is a great choice too. Dylan O says, let's see. Long story short, I was in a very vivid dream. I was somewhere else hiking with two people dressed in old world linens, silk, a 20-year-old male and a 35-year-old female. They took me from the mountains down to the ocean. I got in the water immediately. I swam around, noticed the male had something, my broken wristwatch from reality. It was nearly 100% exact, but it was working. I woke up and my watch in reality was working. A week or so later, I lost my spot. I think the chat moved. In reality, it was working. A week or so later, I woke up in the middle of the night and a white-skinned, 5-foot tall, platinum blonde, white-haired girl was in my room beside my bed. She had typical black eyes. Well, that's interesting, Dylan. Now, when you say she had typical black eyes, are you saying like the grays kind of eyes? You know, like almond-shaped black eyes? But she had, other than that, she looked human. She was wearing a tight-fitting eggshell off-white suit with, I believe, straps near the shoulders for probably movement. That's interesting, man. That is crazy. You know, like these kinds of experiences, guys, have not happened to me, at least so far. I have had some strange dreams, but I'm going to share them eventually. I had this one dream that stuck with me forever, but it was a dream, right? Like, and I also think like your dreams can be influenced from what you're looking into and what you're doing. So I will share that dream one day. I'm not sure if I'll share it now because I might be able to talk for half an hour about the dream. But let's see. The Cash Landrum event. The Cash Landrum event was, Carl brought that up. That's when Betty Hill and I'm mixing up their names, but Betty and was basically the event where the diamond-shaped craft burned the experiencers, right? It gave them like radiation burns, which people were saying was probably an experimental craft because there was helicopters flying around it. Very true, radiation burns, yeah. As far as you know, Gaucho. Yeah. You mean the dream? Yeah. It may have been, yeah, as far as I know. You know, I made a whole video talking about how there may be many more abductees than we think, because you may either have a false memory or you may think it was a dream. You may not even remember it at all. I remember being touched on the center of my forehead with a pen-like silver rod that had very bright light on the end that knocked me out. You know, something I was thinking about the other day, guys, seeing as Noel brought up that pen like silver rod, I was thinking, you know, we talk about crash craft and we talk about, you know, the beings, the occupants, what they wear, but what about the stuff that's in the craft? You know how certain cases, like Noel just brought up this the pen-like silver rod. If when the craft crash, or are there cases where the aliens or the extraterrestrials or the beings, you know, they lose these pieces of tech, right? That's what I've been looking into. I've been trying to, you know, I'm thinking about making a video about that topic. So, you know, I feel like apart from the craft, they must have tech other than the craft, right? And how do we get our, you know, is there anybody that has that kind of tech? You know, like when they retrieve the craft, do they also get the tech that's in the craft? Are the craft empty? But I feel like there's a lot of cases where you see that they are using some sort of instrument, some sort of tools, and that pen-like object that Noel brought up has been brought up in other cases, and I feel like it's been sort of glorified and taken, it's inspired lots of stuff in the sci-fi realm, that idea of the pen, with the light on it, sort of like the Men in Black kind of thing. But I was thinking the other day about the ancient astronaut hypothesis, and I was thinking about crash UFOs and these objects, right? Like they must have some kind of gear or some kind of tech as well. And I don't know, like that pen object, right? It sounds a lot like if you were to see that now, or you were to see that, 100 years ago. It sounds like a wand, doesn't it? Like a wizard wand or something. If you saw a pen-like object that was emitting light that could affect people, I feel like that just sounds like something that maybe, you would get from the gods. Some kind of weapon given to you from the gods. Something else I've been thinking about. I don't know. I might need to make a video about it to make it a clear idea, right? It's just a thought. Let's see. Let's check out the live chat. The Sheffield Town Covered Bridge UFO event. Wow. The new Unsolved Mysteries featured so many new witnesses never before interviewed. The Sheffield Town case. That actually, I saw the Unsolved Mysteries episode. And what was interesting, too, to me about that case is it seemed like, in my opinion, the craft was looking for something. So, yeah, definitely check out that case. Guys, thank you guys for being here. I'm going to have to end the live stream because my camera's going to die. But, as always, you guys are the greatest. The channel's at 2,000. The conversation tonight was awesome. The community's growing every day. I love that you're all here, and the support you're giving me means the world to me. I'll try to do these every Wednesday. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night wherever you are. You guys are awesome. And yeah, never stop searching for the truth, guys. Honestly. And if you ever need to talk to anybody, reach out to me, talk to me. Shoot me ideas if you want. Throw cases my way. I'm here to learn just like you guys. We are all in the search together, and if we work together, we might get a little bit closer to the truth. So, thank you guys, man. Never stop searching for the truth. I'm going to stop repeating myself. Have a good night, guys.